Hey guys, we're going to talk about lesson 8.19 today, which is lateral surface area of cones. So on Friday, we talked about cylinders and finding lateral area. Today, we're going to focus on cones. And your objective, of course, is to apply this formula that we're going to talk about today and find the lateral area. Now, as we discussed previously, the lateral surface area is the total surface area of a three-dimensional object, but not including the base. So our focus today is on this guy, a cone. When we said not including the base, we are talking about everything that's around. Now, we're going to do two examples. I'm going to give you a formula. We'll do two examples. One is straightforward. One is kind of going backwards, which is what I want a lot of you to pay attention to. We're making some errors there, but first let's look at the formula. To find the lateral area of a cone, we are going to focus on the formula. Lateral area is equal to pi r L. Now be careful with the L. The L, when you copy in your notebook, make sure you write this slanted height, which is kind of like the diagonal piece in the cone, the slanted part. So there are times when I can give you the actual height, the perpendicular part. I'll give you the radius, and you will have to find the L by doing Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so let's look at the first example. The first example says, find the lateral surface area of the cone below, and let's round this to the nearest tenth. Now, one issue that I did notice is some of us are still not reading. Tenth means 1 decimal. So the first thing I like to do is always write my formula. Lateral area is equal to pi r L. Lateral area is equal to pi. The radius is given 6, and 10 is the slanted height, which is 10. Because I'm asking to the nearest tenth, I am going to enter the pi in the calculator, and my final answer will be 188.5, and its area, so it'll be in inches squared. Right? Kind of pretty much straightforward, kind of, no question kind of ask. Everything is just in there, substitute, blah, blah, blah. Now, before I do the next example, I do want you to see, what if I did not give you this 10? Okay, this was not given. And I said this was 8. The height in the question, it says the height was 8. Remember, the L represents the slanted height. So if this was not given, you would set this up as your L, that's your variable. So you would have done 6 squared plus 8 squared equals L squared. And 6 squared is 36. 8 squared is 64. When I add those two, I would get 100 equals L squared. Take the square root of these guys, 10 equals L. So then you know that the slanted height would have been 10, then you would have gotten to that part. So you have to be careful. Are you given the height or the slanted height? If you're given the height, you have to do this extra step in the bottom here. If you're given the slanted height, just straight go ahead and substitute. As you finish copying that, let's look at question number 2. So this is the backward question. It says, if the lateral area is 62.82 centimeters square, the radius is 4, find the slanted height. Now again, when we are looking at this, the first thing I'm going to write, lateral area is equal to pi times r times L. The lateral area was told is 62.82. The radius is 4, and then I don't know what the L is. That's what I'm looking for. Now this is multiplication. To undo multiplying, you divide. Now here is the only issue. This needs to be in parentheses. When you're dividing by more than one term, meaning you got a 4 and you got a pi, you got to put it in parentheses. So in the calculator, you will do alpha y equals enter. If you do that, you do not have to do parentheses, but if you're just doing it regular division way, you would do 62.82 divided by open parentheses pi 4 close parentheses, and then you would get an answer of 4.99 is equal to L. Let's just do a whole number. Your slanted height is 5 centimeters. Just remember the parentheses here are super important. It causes you to get a different answer if you don't. Now that you guys have these two examples, you know what the deal is. You are going to go ahead and complete the practice questions. Make sure you show your work and submit them on Google Classroom. Alrighty, have a good night, guys.